hello, my beautiful people. How now all they do, how now all they do. Another day, we don't come back again. Another day, we tell God thank you. We tell the Almighty thank you for life, for another chance. Every day, now a day and a chance for make things right. And we tell them a thank you as voice of Sierra Leone for join we every week for can discuss social media review, the things that are happening on social media. And today na July 11th, 2021, una thank you on a day. Again, my co-host there with me two fine gentlemen, lawyer Shilon, where they in North Carolina, where he is a practicing attorney for over 40 years. He's a defense attorney. So if you get case where on a day inside America or una want, free counsel or whatever, maybe it will provide that to now show now the way to go. Also, we get with we honorary professor on VOS. Professor, we give the name, we the viewers of VOS, now we've been given this name here because this is a man of so much knowledge, especially when it comes to the history and the politics of Sierra Leone. It gets, I can tell and say in a walking encyclopedia, it gets so much knowledge and we cannot let him go and die with this sense way again away. So one of the things the way they do, we always sit on a VOS. They try for pass the history way Sabi and give the sense, put the sense to the government for let them try for do the right thing. And also I'm not saying they work on a book for put that textbook they will use another school them for begin teach with small picking they will not know certain things them. And I pray that they manifest it can to pass and it try for do before we not say God they keep and force between order for diet. So with long life, we pray for that day. So we all dinner here with a talk on issues of social media, review me na Fadima Savage. Hey, I can't talk about myself, but I got many hats that I've won in life. So but we they go straight to the issue. When they go straight, I will make them tell una first, let them tell una adi. But one thing I want for say una share for let the community big. Una share for let people that can join the conversation. Please share. If everybody where they on right now, una share one time, then where it tastes small, una share again. Una share because sharing passes the message around. Sharing brings people to the conversation and the table. I know say some people they don't do with we for long. Some people they not new people where they join, but I wanna pass the word and I saw more people they come. So una thank you for share. I will bring me co-host them. I start with Professor Kutubu. We honorary professor let tell you plenty I do and talk, and then Mr. Sheila will come. Then we will come for begin the thing the world they talk about today. So Professor to you, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Fadima. We tell God thank you for another beautiful day. Like we're glad for there for share knowledge with everybody. Like we say this now a program where we participatory, meaning that we all interact and talk, and so we look forward to now for join we, and let we just try for do things that we will care salon go before. Thank you very much, Madam Fadima.
Mr. Shilon. Mr. Shilon is muted.
Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you may be around the world. As we all know, this broadcast goes all around the world, Sierra Leone included, and it's live, so people then can call and throw in then your idea or raise any questions or ask any questions as the program continues. So we welcome Una back again and ask that Una participate in the spirit that the program is being broadcast. Mutual respect for other callers and callers to each other. Mutual respect between the host and the callers them. That way we'll go focus more on substance rather than trying to attack each other. Even if you disagree or you get a different view, please call, suggest them in a respectful way, in a civilized way, because we're all now, nobody gets the best idea. We can only learn from each other. So because of that, we're very glad to have one on board for taking the time, precious time, for joining again on this program. Now, as we proceed, of course, usually there are numbers one I can call in on. The toll-free number is 1-866-944-7722. The toll-free 866-944-7722. If you're calling from the UK, plus 44-203-239-9581. Plus 44-203-239-9581. From Australia, plus 61-280-064-352. From Australia again, plus 61-280-064-352. And on WhatsApp is 1-343-997-5828. On WhatsApp again, 1-343-997-5828. So with these numbers available to una, at least you will be able to reach the broadcast from one of the numbers here any part you did. So thank you. Welcome on board. We hope we'll get a very nice discussion. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Mr. Shilon. The number the day, like I say, this not thing where we all they take part pan, not thing where we all they got much pan because salon business now we all business, and this not the voice of Sierra Leone. Everybody voice matter. As long as you do it with respect, as long as you can at the platform with mutual respect, try for make I understand you, you try for make I understand you. We meet in the middle and waiting good for salon. We push the agenda go before, but we they can't talk on this corona issue where don't bring big noise what they hear in the social media. About a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago, the president announced say that they do a lockdown and we don't get this COVID-19 new wave, the third wave we don't come, the Delta variant where they not free on where they kill people there. And last week, the number of death was 106. And this week, 6 more people, they don't die, may their souls rest in peace. May God grant them family, them peace and strength for deal with what they deal with. Today, 112 people, they don't die of this coronavirus. And right now, the new cases are 28 people. 28 people, they don't die. We don't get the coronavirus when are new cases where then they suffer from the virus right now. And the death is 112. 112 people don't die. From last week to this week, 6 people more don't die of COVID. COVID is real. COVID is, this Delta variant is killing and ravaging the world. Even America is scared of it right now. We president don't say it in a salon. NACOVAC don't say it in a salon. We Ministry of Health don't say it in a salon. We are in the Ministry of Health, they talk say people have forget the vaccination, but one of the vaccination and they expired this month, July, the end of July. So is that why they're forcing people? Some people they ask, is that why they're forcing people for go take the vaccine because they expire? And we know say we been raise the question. I think Professor Kutube and Mr. Shilo, do we have the right environment to keep them vaccinated and they and all the other stuff and they waiting at the team them when they give the people them for announcement to the people. I know NACOVAC is trying to do a job, but people still have doubt, people still have fear, people still have all that thing that they say they not trust the government, they not trust the way, so people are afraid. And we also see where the ACC then go after people where they sell the card. So people, any sign as salon people can drag, any sign as salon people can find way for beat the system. Any sign of the world, people and they we go violate, we go drag, we go do something, we're not to the right thing. But we see the ACC boss when they say they go catch some people them when they sell the card for the vaccine for 300,000 leones. So they say man live by man, but is that the right thing to do? And people that do what they do, it is wrong to do wrong. Wrong is wrong is wrong is wrong. I don't condone wrong. Anything where they illegal, I'm not for it. But they have their reasons. They will go explain and get in day in court why they do what they do. So to this now, we see another video on social media this week where a gentleman go around. They say we presidents don't say and foreclose the churches and mosques, but in a Dove court he go, is this, can we practice social distancing here? Can we, why corona dey, if corona not dey in the markets them, but why corona dey in the church and all that kind of thing? And we agree with religious leaders that Sierra Leone, they all don't get up in arms. We will play some video them of some, let una self listen for una self. Then they say, why make the president for left one bad and open and then close religious thing? I think Mr. Shillon talked on that day last week. Are they doing it for the right reason? Or is it for really the safety of the people? So we go up much padande. Let we play the video. Archibald Cole play a video, then I go give me co-host the little Rob sense for their own true sense where they see all this corona business, because corona na real thing and corona na they kill. And some people they say if corona be there na free tongue by now all man don't die. Because inside Freetown alone, I know they talk about upline. Inside Freetown alone, the market side, the Kisi Street Market, Abacha Street, the Duff Court, the PZ area, all that side, and they people and they over themselves. Then you go to the Bay areas, inside people them inside small environments. It pass almost people they tell like where you need and they inside all day. So let we play Archibald Leone Force, which is the one of the one them. Then we go play another Ghanaian guy where live in Ghana. He say in Sierra Leone born. He's a pastor too. Instead we get message for me una self can join the conversation. Instead we get message for President Bio, because now then they say they don't discriminate against the churches and the mosques, the religious places, which I them for go pray. Why President Bio for shut and down? So let we listen first to Archibald Cole, then we will listen to this guy when a Sierra Leonean, he say he live in Ghana and a pastor. Look, you people them. It can go, anyone can go first, it no matter. But I don't just listen quick. Then my fellow host then will take charge.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to whichever part of the world you are listening to me. This is God's servant, Pastor Winner Ben from Accra, Ghana, commonly known as Apostle Ben. I have a strong message and a warning for the president of the nation of Sierra Leone. And I'm sending this message, and whoever that has it should pass it to him, to tell him that he should revisit. He should revisit his press statement made some few days ago concerning the shutting down of God's house, that is churches, places of worship. He shouldn't forget that the throne that he is sitting on right now, he was placed there by God. And if he chooses to sideline this God and to do otherwise, then he should be ready to face the consequences. He should be ready to face the penalty. Now I want to read something from the book of 1 Samuel chapter 2 verse 30. 1 Samuel chapter 2 verse 30. I'll read something from it very quick, then I'll give him. The message is a very short one. If you want, you can listen. If you want, you can disobey or dishonor the message. But at the end, you should be ready for whatever consequences it may come with. Hallelujah. 1 Samuel chapter 2 verse 30 says, it said, therefore the Lord, the God of Israel, declares, I promised that your house and your father's house would minister before me forever. But now the Lord declares, far be it from me. Those who honor me, I will honor. But those who despise me will be disdained. That is God's word. He said, those who honor me, I will honor, and those who dishonor me, I will disdain. Man can dishonor you or man can disdain you, and it cannot really affect your destiny. But if the God, the creator of the ends of the earth, the one that gave you life, and the one that has given you the power and the authority to rule as a president, chooses to disdain you, to dishonor you, then I'm telling you, that is the greatest tragedy that can happen to you. So, Mr. President, I beg you in the name of God, whoever that gave you that counsel, that the church, that is religious centers, are the place you must shut down to cure COVID-19 in Sierra Leone, then that person has given you the wrong counsel. The person has given you a wrong advice, because with my few visits, now let me bring your attention to some few things. First of all, there is no church that is populated like Dovecourt Market. There is no church that is populated like Congo Market. There is no church that is populated like Waterloo Market. There is no church that is populated like Frabe College. There is no church that is populated like IPAM University. These are just some few places I'm mentioning to bring your attention to something very crucial. If those places cannot be shut down, then why shut down God's house? If those places cannot be given rules and regulations, why God's church? Why the house of God, the very God that established you on that throne? I would like to tell you at this point that, Mr. President, you are playing with fire. You are taking fire and hiding it in your bosom. And you know what that means. When you hide fire in your bosom, you know what that means. You know the consequences it will come with. And now this is the message I heard clearly from the Lord, and I'm giving it to you. If you like, you listen. You can dishonor it. And like I told you, whatever consequences, if you don't revisit that decision now, you have just but one term in that office. You have just but one term in that office. God loves you. He has a great plan for you. He wants to use you to be a blessing to the nation of Sierra Leone. But don't joke with his house. If you don't believe, go through history, go through the Bible. Thank God you are a Christian. Go through the Word of God and see those who ever tried to fight God's house, whether they ever succeeded. And what was their end? Is it King Nebuchadnezzar? He was one of the man, the seven wonders of the world. He was one of the one that established one of the wonders. He built a suspended floor in the air to tell you how powerful he was. But when he thought power had entered into his head, and he doesn't care about the authority and the leadership of God anymore, the Bible says God had to turn him into an animal to enter into the forest for 7 solid years. For you, God may not turn you into an animal, but your throne will be taken away from you. Your leadership will be taken away from you. So I beg you in the name of God, Mr. President, His Excellency Dr. Julius Maada Bio, revisit your press release, your press statement to the nation. And you shouldn't also forget that religious practice is one of the rights of every Sierra Leonean. I know somebody may be there asking, why is this man so particular and so concerned about Sierra Leone? Why is he living in Ghana? May I disappoint you? I'm a born Sierra Leonean, and I want you to know that today. So I'm not just interested in Sierra Leone because I am a man of God, but also I am a Sierra Leonean. Whatever happens in the nation of Sierra Leone can also affect my life, in as much as I am not there. So, Mr. President, I dare you to go back to your press statement and review it. And whoever that gave you that counsel has given you the wrong counsel, has given you the wrong advice. Because if Bea Palos, if nightclubs, restaurants, bars, and other places are allowed to function, then why God's church? Oh yes, we agree, yes, you want to protect the citizenry. It's good. But why not give them guidelines? There are protocols we must observe. Even here in Ghana, there are protocols we observe. I thank God for the president in Ghana here, Nana Akufo-Addo. When he was ready to shut down, he shut down everything. Not shutting down only God's house and leaving the rest to function. But when he said a complete shutdown, bars, nightclubs, football centers, everywhere was shut down completely. That is a fair judgment. But if your judgment is only going against the house of God, then that judgment is a wrong one. And whoever that gave you that counsel has given you the wrong counsel. And know that when God is ready to pass judgment, it's not going to look at who counseled you. You have the power and the authority to reject the counsel or to accept it. When God is ready to pass his judgment, know that it will go against you and your household. So I beg you, Mr. President.
Good day, again. I am elated today because after 3 years of political oppression in Sierra Leone, after 3 years of economic degradation, out of 3 years, oh yes, of the perpetuation of tribalism and nepotism at every sector of that government of BO. Today, I had a video from one clergy from Sierra Leone by the name of Bishop Achibokol, condemning the injustice against the church that is going on. And we want to hear more clergymen, Christians, speaking up. Oh yes, God has not given us the spirit of fear, but of power, of love, and sound mind. I only differ with him from his source that there has been peace. There has never been peace in Sierra Leone since Bio came to power. He has murdered innocent people in that Pandema Road prison. At Tombo, at Lunsar, Makeni has been murdering people, killing and shedding innocent blood. And brethren, it has come to a point that the church must stand up. We may be few, but we are powerful in God. There was a Moses for Pharaoh. Oh yes, there was a David for Goliath. And brethren, there was a Judas Maccabees when the emperor Antiochus rose up to persecute the Jewish people in 167 BC. And God has always been with us when we stand up for what is right, because the Bible says righteousness exalts a nation, but sin and wickedness is a reproach to God. Brethren, Proverbs 29 verse 2 says, when the righteous rule, the people rejoice, but when the wicked rule, the people groan, they grumble. Oh yes, they suffer in silence. And so we have to do something. We have to speak out en masse against the wickedness and the persecution of the church. Yes, Isaiah 1 verse 23 describes the current government of BO. Your rulers are rebels, a companion of thieves. Everyone loves a bribe and chases after a reward. They do not defend the orphan, nor does the wicked has a place to complain. Yes, wickedness has taken over the nation, and we as a church, like the early church, must rise up like the apostles in Acts chapter 4 verse 19 to 20. We must obey God rather than men. We must obey Jehovah rather than men. Christians have been called to live a peaceful life. Yes, Romans 12 and Matthew 5 verse 9 says that. But our people peacefulness stops when, oh yes, our God is tampered with, when the laws of God have been trampled upon. We cannot be silenced. I love the statement of Judas Maccabeus, oh yes, and Mattathias. They said, when the law of God has been trampled upon, we have no reason to live. We have to die with the word of God. And it has come to the point where in the church must stand up for what is right. Isaiah 59 verse 7 and 8 and 9 says, their feet run to evil, they are swift to shed innocent blood. Yes, their feet are sinful. Yes, they run into ruin and destruction every day. And as a result, verse 9 says, therefore justice is far away from us. Yes, we hope for light, all we see is darkness. We hope for brightness, yet we walk in gloom. That is the word of God. But then we have to stand up. Oh yes, like Judas Maccabeus. Yes, like David, standing up against a giant who want to bring down the name of God. And what is happening right now in Freetown, in Sierra Leone, is the name of God being trampled upon by a leader who think all he's doing is about himself and his crooked politicians. And as a church, we must stand up, we must speak out, we must do everything to resist this evil that is going on in our nation. Let us arise and shine for the Lord. Let us arise and fight for the Lord, and God himself will be with us. He promises he will never leave us, he will never forsake us. May God bless us all, and shalom.
But churches and religious bodies are singularly targeted. I don't think it's the fear of God. I don't think it is just. And it does not look like there is fear of God when crowded marketplaces are moving normally with no restriction at all. Yet churches, an institution of God who gives the power to you to use the power, churches and religious bodies are singularly targeted to be closed down. I don't think it is just, and it does not look like things are done in the fear of God when entertainment centers can still operate with few modifications in their mode of operation, but churches and religious bodies are singularly targeted. I really don't think it is just, and it does not seem like things are done in the fear of God when schools and campuses who meet daily, every day and interact are operating as usual, but churches that meet only twice or thrice a week quickly and depart, just 2 hours at most and depart. And even now NACOVAC said 1 hour 30 minutes and we are done. Just twice or thrice a week, we are singularly targeted, just like that, and close. I don't think that's the fear of God. Saints of God, ladies and gentlemen, I do not think it is just, and it does not look like things are done in the fear of God when religious authorities that represent God on this earth are not consulted or given at least a proper notification to appropriately put things together. Rather, we are singularly targeted as if we are the most vulnerable. Why shouldn't the authorities send an information to the church or to the religious bodies, send a letter and said, we are thinking that in 1 week's time we will do this, so please put yourself together. That is order, that is fear of God, that is justness and ruling in the fear of God. Because if you treat the church like we are nobodies, like you can do what you feel like doing when you feel like doing, you are offending God, and that's dangerous. My counsel to our leaders as an apostolic leader in this nation representing God is 1, Daniel chapter 4 verse 17. It says, Daniel 4:17, it says, this matter is by the decree of the watchers and the demand by the word of the holy ones, to the intent that the living may know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men, and giveth it
Okay. Okay, me people them una don't hear some of the things them we get boku boku social media pastor them we get imam them but I not get the play of the imam but then they say these are the very important times of Islam where people they go perform the Hajj and the last 10 days of Islam now that then they go the last 10 days of Hajj people then they go to mosque now President Bio they come pull the plug and then say then for gonna was like I know the other pastor they say but then they gonna other side them then they gonna school then they gonna offices then they gonna na marketplace them then always skip them why then at the church then the other question people then they ask are they really fighting for God or really now for their own pockets then they fight now the other question that they were they vex for so me no know left to una siam when I join the conversation, the phone lines are open. When I know we talk on that because I am of no position for condemn anybody because I would not condemn person in belief, in religious belief or whatever because nobody not die go come back. All man believe what he believe. Usha you day, na day you day. Usha you believe, na day you believe. That's on you. Now make God give you free will, free choice for do and practice with religion. So people take them serious, some people not take them serious. It's up to the individual. But Mr. Shilon, I will bring you into this conversation, sir. You don't watch, and what is your take? What is so far you don't hear about this COVID? I know say you will not make a comment on this last week, but what thing you see and what in power you don't hear, sir?
Thank you very much, Ms. Fadima. I hear the objections where the preachers them they raise about the current policy or the COVID-19 policy in Sierra Leone by the current government. To some extent, I'm in agreement with the preachers, but for a different reason. I don't share the reasons within the give. Because from a purely intellectual and public policy standpoint, the policy is defective, it's unreasonable, it's unworkable, it is not sensible, and it serves no useful purpose. When the president came television and get a nationwide broadcast, a lot of us felt he was doing exactly what the leader of a country who is concerned about the well-being of the people and for do. That is, you come, you alert them and tell them, make them work with you because we anticipate or in the midst of some serious health problem where if we not be careful, everybody, rich, poor, old, young, go suffer. So that was very commendable of the president. But to my surprise, what I do not understand, after that speech day, I saw no workable policy implementation from the very government of the very president for achieve the goals where he announced, where he illustrate. This is the thing I do not understand. Because if we say the Delta or strain of COVID-19 is more serious and more deadly, that it quick for kill people. I mean, deadly almost like what Ebola used for be. Then we must see that in the action of the government, the Minister of Health, as well as all ministries. But what we've seen here, if you go to the various areas, now I'm coming to the religious thing, but marketplaces are still highly crowded, just like one of the preachers suggests, Dove Court, Waterloo Market, Congo Market, all them places in there, because we don't know what kind of policy that you would think that someone advising the president or a committee responsible for that will have some degree of regulation in terms of and the congestion at marketplaces, but we didn't see any of it. The other thing I do not understand, if people are being told to take precautions or steps for avoid the thing, why isn't the government going out of its way forgive free mask at the very least to people and encourage, not order, but encourage people for take the vaccination. We will not say it help for build with immune system against the virus. What we've seen here is just a lot of talk, but we not see the government. In other words, the government, they talk, but we not see the government, they walk the walk. We don't see the government taking any action for make we think, say, or believe, say, the government means what it says. And I think this is unfair to the people because, as I always suspect, sometimes we pretend for care about our people only to satisfy the West, like the World Health Organization, the United Nations, and some international agencies them, for whatever purpose, sometimes because we're not saying they give aid, so they just want to create a record that we're doing something. But when you look on the ground, you don't see any sincerity, in reaction that we really care for helping people. Now, going to the preachers then, the thing I think they got a better argument for someone like me when they attack the current policy, that's Leone, strictly, or this current policy, strictly on policy grounds. For say, there is no sense in it because of the following reason. What I don't agree with, when the preachers they all begin to equate what the current government do with that of religious tolerance or intolerance, I find that hard for me to agree with, because I don't think religion of itself is the target. I don't think, and people saying, oh, the president not afraid God, the this and that. I don't think that has anything to do with anything. The reality is the policy crazy. If it is dangerous to go to church and congregate, and by so doing you will spread the disease in a church, in a mosque, or places of worship, it is just as equally bad to go to congested, in fact worse, as a matter of fact, not even equally bad, because the mosques are not as congested as, say, the marketplaces in Australia. So it's just bad. So what sort of policy is that? So is it a matter of public health? So for me, I would prefer the preachers then, instead of personalizing this whole thing and just looking at it strictly as the government versus churches or mosque, which I think is the wrong way to look at it. It will be better if they attack the government on policy matter and say the government, they expose with people to more harm. The government not to do their job. They're not to try to protect the country as it's supposed to be. The current policy will get in place. Yeah, you can argue discrimination as an incidental effect, not the targeted effect. You can say, because of what the policy of the government say, it discriminates against Muslims, it discriminates against churches, it discriminates against any other religion. All of that will be, in my view, cogent, reasonable arguments. But this thing about personalizing the policy as against religious houses, what that creates is like some people are speculating. Are the churches sincerely angry at the government because the government then believe, really say the government discriminate against them, or then believe, say the government they affect or impact the bottom line financially, because it does impose a very heavy burden on the church and the mosque. When people don't meet, it affects the revenue. So it gives that feeling, because the church is not arguing from the standpoint of national interest, national health, public health. Then they argue strictly on religious grounds. And me no one fellow will equate the fact that if a policy is senseless, that makes the person ungodly. Because at the end of the day, we almost realize we all we religious believe for we own personal salvation. So there is no point for beginning to say, oh, somebody not afraid God. I don't see it. I don't see if a policy is bad, how that means you're not afraid God. And God, as far as we know, God is everywhere. It's in a church, it's in a mosque, it's in a marketplace, it's in your house, it's on the roads, it's in your car. He's everywhere. So where are we going to target? Is it only when you go to church and the mosque that, God didn't say so, refer to as God places, But as far as we know, the basic rule of religion is God is everywhere. In that case, we for pressure the government for adopt a more efficient, more effective, more reasonable, more sensible public policy towards public health, which at the moment is ridiculous, is senseless, it serves no national or useful purpose. To me, that would be a much better argument. It involves we all, because that argument they cover the churchgoer, it covered the infidel, it covered the Kafri, it covered the pagan, it covered humanity. That's what we should be arguing about, not church-going people versus non-church-going people. The policy is bad and it affects everybody. So my suggestion to the religious leaders is broaden the argument, make it involve human beings, humanity, not necessarily Christians or Muslims, because we know in society, we get people away, they not belong to any religion. So what happens? We shouldn't be concerned if they are exposed by the government to risk of harm because of poor health policy or lack thereof. So I will hope the preacher go look out for all of humanity, all Sierra Leoneans, regardless of our religious affiliation, regardless of our religious preferences, and just deal with it. Attack the government on the matter of policy, because the government definitely has failed completely in implementing any reasonable public health policy for protect the country. So maybe then just they say what they say. So World Health Organization go apportion some money again, which may be the primary motivation, more so than for help the country for avert this serious wave we medically then refer to as strain where they come. So at the moment, that's what I get to say on the issue of this COVID-19 and the religion and the opposition to the government.
Thank you so much, Mr. Shilon. Thank you very much. Spoken like a true lawyer. Say go on the policies, not the person in personal, forget God or not forget God. I'm Professor to you, waiting a young take on this outcry of the religious leaders on this COVID-19 policy where the president put out for closed mosques and churches and all religious places.
Thank you. For lay you get a supposed men of God, they come out here publicly, they pontificate the criminal strategy of, trying to kind of inflame the embers of discord and hate. And then that way, they, believe me now, the saddest thing that way anybody can think of, the saddest thing anybody can think of. The whole thing as seen now just money, finance, money. Yes, the government in policies perhaps try to fight this, perhaps not okay. But even before I dwell onto them, let God bless the United States. Let God bless the founding fathers. The reason why I want to let God bless you there, because of guys like them, why now made the founding fathers and they separate church and state. Because of guys like them, why we go use religion for just inflame the embers of discord. As they see how the people in him, they're not present any cogent argument. Everything are finance. And when they see how them so-called pastors they live very ostentatious and opulent lifestyles at the expense of their congregants. Who that they like Mercedes, who that they BMW, who that they did all that thing, only because they think so the money is flow and they come. So now that made they take this position. They not they take a position where grounded in nationalism or where grounded in man, always together their pocketbook lining. Because once they know the people really good at church, then the money not the good now. These guys could have come out for even, I mean, forget the impudence for talk say government before consult them. I see that very insulting actually. If what beyond the pay, the government not get for consult them. If they get for especially we come by the national interest, they don't get for consult them. Now make you get church and state. It's like telling you go United States before government before consult. We all now make us say now this they do, now this they do, now this they do. If it not happen like country like this, why if it happen? But again, like I say, God bless the founding fathers of this country. God bless the separation of because they may not say guys like they come. Every argument where they put there is very self-centered because all that they call it now, they finance, they get a financial overture. They're not time for look at things from a broader perspective. Okay, yes. Most say they say, well, yeah, even the churches and the mosques are closed, but places of commercial activities were open. We they gonna Giants every now and then. We they gonna Safeway every now and then. There are a lot of places where would they go? Waiting maybe expensive them before advocates. In some place, let the advocates, let government get mechanisms in place where go make sure say this thing are not spread. But for can personalize the argument they can do and so with that kind of articulate venom. And we see how they spew that kind of hate. Guys like that are very dangerous society. They start very condemned. Everything they can't talk now is very self-centered. Not to anything they have their congregants. Now only thing the way they have their pockets. Now their pockets. Then they come for protection. Yes, the government. If they say that people they not do this, then the question will go. What are the mechanisms the way they not put in place? Now that's here we need for the talk about. People they forget mask, yes, and social distances for day because we said America the distance a day. In fact, they so do we're gonna the day they see the sign the way they put on ground, it in ground. Every place they go, the sign they in ground. We will tell you who side for tinap, who side for tinap. These are the benefits of living in an advanced society. These are the benefits if people they were study in a University of Heaven, where they beat God pan exams. Where they able to put the ideas properly together and the benefit. So in closing, the pastor they missed the point, they stand greatly condemned. They involve now all even a self-serving exercise there, where they look at the economic impact, where they see in the council as well. Back to you guys.
Thank you so much for that. Thank you. It is sad where Baku other thing and them pastor them, they imam them, waiting for the talk on behalf of the people or for the advice, people and they within power, they don't do that, but all of a sudden then they can't talk now on this locking down of the churches. And we understand the economic hardship on people because they live off, that thing. And some people then believe in say they get for go in a congregation for let God to be present. They don't know, sometimes God is everywhere. They don't understand that. But it's not for me to say. That is everybody in a different level of understanding of life. So they feel say the church now waiting and call and just like how they say argue on the other stuff or discrimination or whatever. But to say person not get God, nobody don't know who that are the right person. Nobody don't know the worst person can be I remember when my papa been died, where the imam been in someone he talk in Kutuba he talk on there were two brothers and the one they pray 5 times per day, the other one they pray, they drink and then a corner, they wait in the call every day. I think then at the same story then at the Bible too. And every day when brother they go pray, you know they pray. You don't like God don't pull us for you. You just live and drink. It go and go, it go and go, it go and go. So when the one die, God tell the Malaika, say, bring the altar come. So then go before God. Now say, hey Papa God, me who have been there, I they go pray 5 times, you know now, I they make so the other brother, what he you know of the other brother every day we wake, in no problem, he say, Papa God help me for this problem. But the brother not helping, pull them for the problem. All day they condemn I, they get a stone. This stone, now they get for go use for stone, you will go hell. This now they go meet you with a judge, with a waiting and call. So we don't know who that get God, who that not who get God, who that gets waiting and call. We don't get, we don't know. You understand? We don't know. So then they will get for be careful because we don't know. Because now God say what you do for help your brother for bring and car up, lay instead go the pray like you not do nothing, all you do is condemn. So I just want to pull that story, then I feel say necessary. But let me go to the other topic of today. We see now the parliament, we see Kane Yunkela don't come out and talk say the parliament, then they suppress the role of the opposition of Sierra Leone. When they talk about Kane Yunkela, they say the people them at the house, the speaker of the house, they kind of push on a corner, they kind of disrespect him, they kind of not give him a chance for let it talk in right as a representative and as a leader of a party has been taken away from him. Then they kind of, kind of like put him down and not give him a chance for talk. And he finally speak out. I mean, talk a word where one of my brother there, Arun Zubai, will come at me was say, I mean, they expect Kande Yum Kala for be. This is how I saw him in the beginning. I saw him, I thought in my head for a second that Sierra Leone has don't get somebody who will call redeem and save. But then as time goes on, I kind of had my reservation. I say, Kande Yum Kala no go able the way we SALONE, they will need a radical. And somebody, Arun Rashid Zubai will come at me say, Kande Yunkela, if me wale be rally boy and talk and make noise and loud. The Malemas of South Africa, they're not so loud, but then they talk, then they stand, then they be the radical for let their message go through and let their voice go through. And the first time when they tell Kande Yunkela for shut up and sit down and take the mic in my hand, about 3 years ago, and I made the comment say, they just told him shut down and sit down, shut up, kind of way, and it just disappeared, And we see how they treat even the people them in power, like the whistleblowers, like the Tawaz and Gabao or somebody. When Tawa come out and talk on in things that were not right, and we say that they shut them down and put her. He said they don't put her at the back. Then tell her say, they put you at the back of the parliament. Now where you get mic or where you get before now you make you the talk. And so who is kind of Yunkela where they not do them now? It don't come out. It don't talk on the issues. And let me hear him what he talk because he is coming out now. He has come out now and he don't accuse the speaker when are the leader of the things that when they do when all right. So now we hear in the NGC media platform, then we go hear and small than 98 program, then we go hear Dennis Bright. Because there is a committee where if I be part of as a leader of a party, but when the list came out, they exempted him from that committee. Is that right? Is that right? According to Kande Yunkela, na the question then they want for lay SALONE people them una yeri wetin he say for una say.
I gave you a specific case of an individual who died because they went to 2 hospitals here in this country. They couldn't get oxygen. I am not saying oxygen is not available everywhere. You can clarify what you want. I am telling you what I know. So on the economy, We have also been rated on the economy. So in the interest of our very able and competent clerks, please note, I didn't say that you were not good stenographers. I didn't say that. Let me move on quickly. Why am I talking about structural problems in the country? That, again, the president is right, cannot be fixed by cosmetic tokenism. This is the country where the FAO and WFP are warning us again, as they've done over the years, that we are one of the most hungry countries in the world. This is not only by them, this is the same survey that was done by the IGR last year. The citizens said in the IGR survey, Afrobarometer survey, that the #1 problem identified by the citizens of Sierra Leone last year was hunger. So what am I saying? We have structural issues. Therefore, it is incumbent on us to work with government to make sure we improve the lives of everybody. And Honorable Kaisamba, you are right. Obama is correct. Nobody should wish for their government to fail, because it will affect all of us. And it is exactly that is why we in NGC, we've always said constructive opposition. We praise when we should. We also critique when we do. So my first admonition to government, talk and do, but also for now, do and review, do and assess. Where are we going? So I move to free education. Please. I said it 6 months ago, I say it again. I advise the government, please do an in-depth, thorough review of free education. How are we going? Are we going the right direction? Where should we put emphasis? Enrollment, more people in a classroom is wonderful. But if the quality does not work, it will be a problem. And it will be a generational problem. We advise, please review. Agriculture, we again commend the government's effort. A lot of work going on in agriculture. We welcome the rice value chain program that is being rolled out. Again, in the interest of redesign, in Cambia right now, all the tractors we were promised for certain locations have not arrived. Plowing was late, and again, I encourage the government, please take a close look at the fertilizer voucher system. There could be a lot of problems with that, and I'll be willing to engage with them to give them good example. Mining. I want to commend Honorable Emerson Lamin for his eloquent expose on the mining sector. Wow. When he spoke, I was just dreaming now that we'll be earning billions of dollars from the mining sector. And that suddenly, Kono will now become the new shining city on the hill. I welcome all what you said, and I agree with you. I agree with you that indeed, yeah. My honorable colleague, I deeply apologize. I stick to parliamentary protocol. The honorable member from Kono. I liked what you said. I was excited, and I'm really dreaming that very soon Kono will be the shining city on the hill. But I must say, I repeat what I requested the Honorable Speaker 2 weeks ago. We need a whole day session on the mining sector. We need a whole day. This is not about sloganeering. We all know that for decades, our country has not benefited from its minerals. Yes, we have 3 new policies. Is the implementation working right?
I expect much from
We are getting reports of illegal mining all over this country. Sites that we didn't know before. We need to know more. We have called for in this parliament, I personally, for a presentation on the geomagnetic survey. We want to know. We heard the announcement that there is diamonds, there is more diamonds, there is oil and gas. We want to know. We, the people's representative, we need a whole day on mining. It is important. If we cannot manage that natural capital and agriculture, we will be in trouble. I move on quickly. I move on to environment, fisheries, and forestry. Mr. Speaker, in the interest of this country, several of us, including the incumbent, Honorable Speaker, His Excellency Cherno Bundu, We have insisted that we pay attention to environmental degradation. It is happening even more than we think. Less than 5% of forest cover left. I was in Kabbalah over the weekend. Before that, I was in Karine district in my mother's homeland. Our trees are disappearing. I have videos I also have, and I commend Honorable Tawa. He took time to bring those issues to the Environmental Committee. We have said we have to be careful, and for that, I transition. I would advise the government, again, these are all advised proposals. It is not badat. It is for real, because the president says we do redesign. We commend the president for getting $55 million from our good friends in China. It is a grant. We even applaud him for the grant. Wonderful. It is a gift. When you receive a gift, you decide how you will eat it, when you will eat it, and where you will eat it. We implore the government, please explore another site for the fish harbor. Please. Why? No country.
Wow.
Honorable from Kono said he's traveled. Honorable, I have been to about 80 countries. I have had meetings organized for me in major resorts around the world. Yeah, whether it's in southern France or in Bali in Indonesia or Cancun. What am I saying? One of our richest areas, and the president mentioned it in his maiden speech, is tourism. You cannot place an industrial investment in your best tourism location. It makes no sense. It is a gift. You say to your friends, thank you very much. We give you 15 more sites. But this one, we are reserving for a first-class tourism location. So we admonish the government, please. So finally, I move. Thank you for your admonition, Honorable Speaker. As you know, parliamentary practice around the world, you can speak in parliament, you can speak ahead of a policy. You don't have to wait to have policy document. You can speak ahead of a policy to make your position known. Our position is in all the sites that will be considered for this wonderful grant, for this in all the sites that will be considered by our government based on the grant that has been given. We are making a case that for all the sites considered, we pray that Black Johnson is not included, and we have given the government an alternative investment strategy that will yield continuous income, which is building a first-class tourism village. With that, I go now to my final segment on governance. My final segment on governance, it will lay the emphasis. I did not, again, I ask him to listen well. I did not talk about a bill coming to Parliament. I talked about environmental issues. I am not anticipating any bill.
Well, this one, let me talk about first, because it talks about a lot of stuff. I give you the floor, Professor. May you make sense of what you know you're breaking down. Then we go to the other side, because of all this way they talk and the punishments, I will call them, of how they treat them. Go ahead, sir.
First of all, I must say today that one of the best days is we get very good topics today. We'll go energize people then. The question we want to ask the honorable member, Dr. Kade Yunkela, how on the face of all the convoluted grandstanding, the obfuscation, the moral equivalence on the part, how on the face of any rationality who claims it is the suppressor. That's not the fundamental question that we get for us. But even significant and abiding though, we get for, kind of amplify the discussion. I said, I'm the honorable member get for understand, say, they as a corporate body, we are the number one in terms of governance. When the people they may lay out the structures, them people like Montesquieu, people like John Locke, it's not number one. To me, now an irony or contradiction as a matter for here a member of parliament, they can't complain about in right, the right rough shoulder where they talk. You have no. People they get for understand, see, they want they whoever is saying they do that, they get for understand, see, the Speaker of Parliament repeatedly would only tell this word here. I don't know why the Speaker of Parliament not get a executive authority in the Parliament. He not get anything we get extraordinary a plenipotentiary powers of Parliament. The parliamentarians then who say they get more authority past the Speaker. In other words, the Speaker answerable to them. Some of you will take God take you in our United States. We they follow the politics, they participate in them. Nancy Pelosi, wherever it is, he not go ever go against waiting the MPs they want. Very election that, but when you get a speaker who was not elected by the MPs then, but so just like it kind of imposed on them. This and because the speaker now knows it, and the parliamentarians they're not in constituents and then one. Because if there's something when the MPs then the elector, then he go a job to them. So you be very careful. But I don't care which resolution they can go yonder, say for remove the speaker, he's not going to be gone. The only person who go pull under the president, that the danger this about this kind of a constitution will get where the presidents, and not to only President Bio, but all other presidents, and we don't come under this. We don't make demigods out of the leaders. Then they don't be the Bio and N, or they don't be the Iyak Nabudu, Iyak Nelstein. Everything therefore revolve around their whims, views, and caprices. Again, and they go back to the earlier postulation, say we need for recheck this constitution again. We need for get a constitution where they take into account the sovereignty of the nation. We go equally divide powers. When we get that kind of a constitution, where they divide powers, and they call it, hopefully people like the honorable member are not going to resort to that crybaby mentality at all. But as long as that this idea, when only the leader, it don't be the supreme leader who will get it here, you're unfortunate, but we can. So the answer is, then they change the laws, they'll get a real constitution. We go put the parliament, we go make the speaker also become a sublimat to them, not to the speaker for them, but the speaker therefore they under them. Not to the speaker cannot be seen as their own. Now only SALONE and then the speaker and the overlord. Only SALONE. I've read a lot stuff about speakership in other countries. A lot. I don't read Britain, I follow Britain, I don't see United States now. Virtually the only country I don't say the speaker and the overlord, now SALONE. We need for change that narrative. Back to you guys.
Yes, to you, Mr. Shilon, sir. Usually, because somebody they ask a question, Samura Kamara, how can you guys claim that he is suppressed but he's allowed to make a long speech? You go carry that audio day later. You go hear Mr. Kamara. I just want to let you just stay tuned and you go hear because we'll go play on phone now later. Let we go to Mr. Shilon and to you, sir. Honorable KKY don't put out a lot of things that we're concerned with. You say empathy, that they praise, way for praise, constructive criticism, and all what you hear. So, waiting at the sense where you get out of that, and what you for add to that, sir.
Well, two things among many. Number one, just a brief comment on whoever sent the message. Say, How can Mr. or Dr. Yomkela claim sitting the suppression where they allow for give a lengthy speech? Of course, that can happen. The suppression may not necessarily be physical suppression. It could be procedural. It could be certain other limitations that are not visible to the rest of us, you know. And the time that he make that speech there, it could be that was the only time given to him. Maybe he had tried. So I don't think that's a petty way of looking at it. That if unless they want to dispute that, may not agree with the word suppression either, because as a follow-up to what Professor Kutubu to say, the trouble here is the system itself gets a lot of defects. I mean, with democratic system, with parliamentary system, get some defects where they need for correct. And I always take the position that part of the problem is when we get ready for get a constitution, for change the parliamentary procedure, we just take it as, we get enough PhDs, we get enough master's degree holders, we are capable, we can write our own laws, but no, it's not as easy as it looks. There are experts in a lot of things that we take for granted. Even if you sell certain things, there's a reason why they teach marketing na university. Everybody get enough sense, basic sense that when you buy a commodity, you know to go sell them the price where you buy them. You not buy them for the purpose just for sell them. You buy them because you want to make a profit where you go turn over, go buy some more. Everybody know that. But that basic understanding there of business is not enough. So you can't say, oh, I the sell market, I don't tell you I the sell market, so I get expertise for selling one container of mango, when about pan mango, then you be the sell. Your expertise not reach that level there. Yes, you get a history of selling mango, na tray or na pan, turn around and buy one. But when you begin to sell hundreds of thousands at a time or by bag, it's a different ball game. I use that analogy there as to the way we see education back home. It's somewhat misguided because we just get this feeling that if you speak English efficiently or fluently or eloquently, oh, you learn plenty book. Would you forget for say eloquence? It's a gift like anything else. You can be an eloquent speaker. You can be an eloquent, stupid speaker, to be frank. You can be eloquent in a language and not get any, still not be a bright person. You just gifted. It's no different from where somebody go know how to talk other language we learn. But we attach or ascribe a lot of and think to that. So when we want to pick somebody for write something, we say, hey, go get professor this, professor that, because he learn book. But in book where he learn not in that area there, had we gone and get experts for put with system together, and I want to say experts, there are a lot of Australian experts in the world. There are Australians teaching abroad. America, Canada, here, many other places. There are Australians who've written a lot of books. But we tend not to put the right people in the right place. So now we get a situation where the Constitution, like our Professor Kutubu said, if the Speaker was elected by in your rank and file, by in peers, he will be accountable to them. He will act in a more balanced way. But Sierra Leone get a speaker that was imposed on them, and is there to represent just the party, primarily in your party, and then secondarily the country. So the party interests always take precedence. This is the problem. Unless that structure today is changed, they will always have problem. Dr. Yomkela has to understand that this goes with the territory, unfortunately. There will be attempts for divert your attention, for throw you off course, being an opposition because he's not only in opposition, he's a leader of a political party that once upon a time had the potential of maybe could still be the party capable of taking over from the BO government. But you got to prove it to the rest of us that you have what it takes. To me, that means addressing issues like he's addressing now, about selling tourist areas for chicken change, because I don't know why $55 million deal for a government like Sierra Leone, with all its mineral resources, $55 million is a lot of money. $55 million to any country, Sierra Leone included, should be no different from, let me say, $5 from me. Forget any impact. So to go, why is $55 million a major deal for a country? Why they look at the environmental impact, the commercial impact, where get by selling. And they keep telling these people, you have to be mindful, you have to be watchful, you have to be concerned, because the Chinese are very smart people. Gradually, they're moving into Africa. We'll go for land for deal with everybody, but we'll go for trust. We own smartness, we own brains. We can't be scared of dealing with people. But we forbid just as smart as they are. And like when you play draft or chess, when your opponent make a move, you make a counter move. He anticipates you move, you self-anticipate you move. The imbalance now is those in power are more interested in self-financial interests than they are concerned about a national interest and uplifting everybody. Don't forget, Englishmen say, a rising tide lifts all boats. But with leadership, they don't want the tide where they come for lift all the boats. They want the tide where will lift some boats. And this is some of the problems. We'll get a structural problem. First of all, I want the honorable opposition leader for making us say he has the potential of being the only viable opposition person now and in party for takeover from APC and SAPP. We cannot allow Sierra Leone for continue on the path of, if it's not SAPP, it's APC. When these two parties have a clear, demonstrable record of incompetence and selfishness and greed and wickedness, they just don't give a damn. Let's say it like it is. I fail to see any distinct difference in administrative policies between APC and SAPP. They one and the same. Not to mention the fact that these guys are recycled politicians. Those who are APC now were once SAPP. Some of whom were SAPP are APC.
They go back and forth.
Dr. Yumkela, I will hope he understands the terrain in which he finds himself. So when you drive an off-road vehicle in the bushes, you should expect that vehicle to be running like you're on the highway. It's not going to run smooth because now different terrain you're there. So when you're in a parliament in a country like Sierra Leone, you know the ground rule. You will be willing to fight and stand your ground, because at the end of the day, you're not going to get into power by yourself. Now, when the people who support you say you get a fighting spirit, that's when they all go back you. That's when the government will be fearful of laying their hands on you, because they know say when they touch you, then touch millions of people. When they treat you bad, they have treated millions of people. But you got to speak the language of the people. So my suggestion is, I am very much in line with Dr. Yumkela in terms of he shouldn't be a crybaby, because nobody wants a leader who is a crybaby. Everybody wants a leader who is a fighter. And that's my recommendation Change your
Thank you.
spirit,
Thank you.
show your people and say you can fight, and you will see the difference.
Yeah.
That's what I have to say.
Before we play some of this video, we Kada Yukelagona AYV the other day, like a couple of days ago, like about a week ago, and explain the problems of which they happen. You talk one word, say we politicians are recycled politicians, and then Mickey always say it's like you have the good uncle them, the bad uncle them, and the useless uncle them. Some of the politicians, they're useless. Some of the politicians then get bad hidden agendas, unfinished business, with an effect against themselves. The two main parties then. You get the uncle them and some of the auntie them, because mostly in a man, I make they put her as uncle. Let man not take offense to that, but some woman then they among them. But it's mostly the males. And the wicked one them where it is all about themselves. It is all about keeping their parties in power, so they go drain Sierra Leone to all how they can able, so they go live their life till they die, at least in money, what to do to get on, what to know to they work for. We get them bad on cool and they where they whisper, now we president in yes. We get the good one them where the bad one they overtake them, because when you want to be good, like how you say, it's like you they run a motor car now rough terrain, you got to know the terrain. If you don't know the terrain, you're gonna flip over and you're gonna be exhausted and you're gonna be tired. And you get there, politician them where they all pan this way, and then they get the young one there where they recruit for them into that way where it's not about country, it's about them and their parties. And that is the danger where we depend. And until we, the people of Sierra Leone, see them thing and they and begin for realize them thing, and they say them people are not care about we, especially the bad uncle them, the useless one, then they're useless, period. Useless, they're useless. But then you get the one then where the agenda now for hold on and grab onto power in any kind of way possible. And that is the suffer. We don't for the longest time get them bad on Kulia, where they inside with politics, where all then grip them, then our left them. And not there uncle then they, not there, not the danger now with society. Not there, not the danger then. And the one that where they lead with like this president, I have said it before. In my heart of hearts, I don't think really say president be all bad like how they say bad, but he gets the clause of the old uncle them. They all uncle them where when a bad one they were wicked, the agendas of the past they continue for carry on to the future of Sierra Leone. And until we get rid of their old uncle and until we get rid of the grip the way they all now with politics, SALONE will they force. Because we have them among us. We have them among us. Then they come, then take money, they waste them, they come back, they waste nothing, not a day where they better the people they like. And Sierra Leoneans, we watch by year after year, government after government, they continue for do this wickedness. Una sabi the young, una sabi the good uncle them, una name them. Una sabi the bad one, they una name them, una tell with the useless one they bad, because they all the inside with politics together. We get a caller, let me take the caller. Good evening, caller, waiting at your name, and also you the call we from place.
Hello, Andy Vadi Madisna Omaru, the call from Switzerland.
Yes, my brother, Mr. Omar, go ahead, sir. Thank you again, as always, a loyal listener. Thank you for, without you, Voice of Sierra Leone is nothing. What do you get today for me, sir?
Okay. Some of we disappointed in Kande Yumkela. They cry too much, they nag too much. The parliament, not in comfortable zone way in the use now UN. The parliament like a rough ride. If I don't adopt to the ride, and we see at the time where them you just kind of power where they just elect them. It be so quiet, it be so comfortable with the system that even when they talk about this or draw allowance and so on, that they be then at the forefront. That not been the real issue. Why not? Then you know in the council. Why not within the prime and on a corner now one council win now? You know what is some of they say now that now in leadership until one go rule SALONE in leadership that they try for test. Let it left the complaint. It concentrate on what the people they elect and they for. You know, not to in one day in a parliament. Let it concentrate on that. That's now one. Then they know that again the opposition again. This they serve them right. Because that office now be office will now be almost non-political office now be legal-minded somebody in the older office day. During the APC time, they change that system there, then try to put a political head in that position there. And they like we don't see them. That particular position they don't left like the way it did during the APC time. But just because of political interest and because of some bad practices they go on, then decide for change the way it suits them. So now that's that parliament right now. Until then change again, go to the old system, we go for the CEDA system. And can you if you know say they would in a parliament, next election, let resign, let Lord Apostle run. But for saying go there, they go and na corner, it's not necessary. Let concentrate on what people are elected for. Thank you very much. And not to UN office.
Thank you, Mr. Omar. Thank you, my brother. Okay, me people down now, let we listen to waiting kind of Yumgala said, oh, yeah, Dennis Bright, what he say, what he happen. And let we go to AYV, he been going to AYV last week and he been talk on some issues. Let me go quick to that, please.
President Bio's speech delivered in Parliament some time ago and some of the issues in it. Good morning, Honorable, and welcome to Wake Up Sierra Leone.
Thank you for having me. It's been a while.
It's been a while. Belated birthday.
Thank you. You should have been there. We celebrate.
You enjoyed it?
Do you know how I celebrate?
No.
I go running.
Yeah. And we have that photo.
With my guys, you know, so we should have been there together.
Yeah. And we have that photo of you at the beach. I hope the producers...
Let me tell you the secret. It is to remind me how young I used to be. You know? I miss it. I miss youth.
Yes. Is that you? Is that you on the screen?
Yes, that's me. How? We had just done, actually yesterday I was too lazy, so the other day I ran. Yesterday I had just finished 3 miles,
okay,
and I was there enjoying nature, you know, the beautiful Sierra Leone.
And that photo went viral, and
O'Shea should not have sent that one public. O'Shea.
It went viral, but people were saying you look so fit, you look so okay and happy.
That's okay. The ground dry, so you know, big man.
Well, how have you been managed to be able to keep?
We thank God. I exercise quite a bit. Even in the village, I walk long distances between villages. Sometimes I've always been somebody who is a fitness person.
Okay.
I like it. It clears my head. Clears the stress as well when I exercise. Now with age, I don't run as much. I've been wondered, hey, after 40-something years of running, now I do power walks.
Okay.
That my PA cannot keep up with.
I know.
He'll say, no, doc, I leave you behind. So, and you know, mental balance. It's very important to have mental balance and friends and family.
Mental balance, speaking of which, let's take it straight to Parliament.
Hey!
Mental balance in Parliament. So last week we had Dr. Dennis Bright here, talking about, on behalf of your party, talking about how concerned they are about how you're treated in Parliament. But some of the feedback we've gotten from the public on this issue, well, some say they're justifiable concerns, while others say, well, you're just being a crybaby. So which is which? Let's hear from you on the situation there in Parliament. And why do you think the Speaker and the leadership of Parliament is particularly picking on you?
Well, 3 years in Parliament now, it's been interesting. Last time I was on your show, I said it's being embedded in the politics of Sierra Leone, understanding how the mechanics work. So 3 years of a lot of patience, looking at things, remaining focused on why I'm there as a lawmaker, to represent people, to speak my mind as well. So I have not made it public or any of these things. I've said it in the well of Parliament. I have said it to the leadership behind the scenes, but my party chose that they feel that it's a sign of some degree of institutional decay, that they want to address it. So they wrote a letter to the Speaker. We'll see what the Speaker tells them.
Are you suggesting you would have preferred to deal with this quietly?
Let me put it this way, for 3 years I have chosen not to talk about it because I was elected to be there, irrespective of what anybody does, to represent the people who elected me and to represent those progressives in this country who thought it fit to vote for me. My party has a right to decide what issues they pick up. And in this case, the leadership of the party felt that enough was enough 2 weeks ago when the supervisory committee was announced, and decided to write the Speaker on a number of issues. Let's see what he says, what he replies. We're curious to see what he will say. But yes, the Speaker and I have fundamental disagreements on some issues, some of them very on morality as well.
So it's personal?
For the Speaker, it is personal.
And for you, you think it's personal for him? You've been victimized, quote unquote, as put.
I would not talk about victimization. I just know
that's what your party said.
My party, as I say, they've looked at the facts, they've listened to some of the insights, the happenings there.
So you disagreeing with them? You've not been victimized by...
What I'm saying is the Speaker and I have disagreements over some issues, and some go way back, and so he decides to use his own prerogative.
Way back, does this mean even before you become a member of Parliament?
Some have historical legacies, but I know that my 3 years in Parliament, we've disagreed on some strong fundamental things as well. So he could play out, use his power to do what he wants to do. We've disagreed over Tawa, for example, sending people to ethics, young parliamentarians, for minor infractions. And of course, my disagreement on his position on Tawa was, I was on BBC saying it, that you can't deal with somebody that way who, out of his own conscience, says, hey, I am not willing to serve on a committee. We've disagreed strongly on that. We've disagreed over his property issue. Yeah, that's very recent. We've disagreed because I believe it is a conflict of interest, big time. It's almost, it debases the Parliament. To ask the Parliament to give you your properties back when you don't go through a petitions committee. It is, you know, I've said on your show for 3 years that corruption is not just about money. Corruption is also when you debase institutions, when you play with the rules for self-gain. We've disagreed strongly on that privately.
Are you referring to moral corruption? In that sense, does it imply that Parliament or the leadership of Parliament, including the Speaker?
I have focused on the Speaker. Yeah, so
does that imply that the Speaker has been morally corrupt? If that's what you say?
It matters if you use an institution to overturn a decision like that in your own tenure. Yeah, and you do it in a way when some leaders are not in Parliament. You do it in a way because you know the rules, that once an instrument is laid, 21 days later becomes effective. And anybody who wants to buy those properties has to be careful. Any government will come back and take it. But nobody asked why the administration of President Tijankaba would insist to do that. There's a story behind it, but it's up to him if he wants us to go.
Is that a story you would perhaps want to share with the rest of the viewers and listeners who perhaps are not previewed to that information?
It's up to him how far we go. You know, I heard him say to somebody reported back that he said, oh, I should have talked to him privately. I've gone to his office privately several times on several issues, and nothing happens. This is one of those things that I believe is not good for history. We'll write the legacy of this session of Parliament, this 5th Parliament. That's one. Another one is right now we're in another committee there is a discussion of his retirement package. You know, you sit there and you say, well, but wait a minute, why are we here? We're here to aggrandize? Are we here to amass? You know, a retirement package that anybody overseas will be jealous of. A retirement package between $60,000 to $100,000 a year. I mean,
is that what the Parliament is proposing for the Speaker?
Well, we shall see, you know, in some committees what goes on. And so these are fundamental disagreements. Yeah, and yes, some of us dare to speak out.
Are you alone in this?
We speak out privately on issues, but when people decide in the end that power has to be used to diminish other people, it is wrong. It is wrong for why some of us joined politics. We joined politics to inspire people. People asked me, why would a man like you who ran for president, you've been in global governance, why would you want to go to parliament? They say, they do that. I say, because it is the place where you protect the citizens. It is the place where you make sure the laws are right. It is the place where you check excesses of the government.
And
I mean, you know,
checking
we
send
letters.
Really being checked in Parliament.
We send letters to the Speaker. We make motions. I made a motion to debate the Auditor General's report. You know of that? Yeah, it's a year and a half. Just no attention. It's the constitutional requirement, for God's sake. We go privately. We talk to him. We have to debate the Auditor General's report. So the same tradition continues for 20 years. Never debated.
So is the Parliament
so when you see,
excesses,
but let me put a context. When you see the United States government now saying, based on assessment, fiscal transparency does not exist, they add up things. You don't want to debate Auditor General's report, in spite of motions passed in Parliament. We ask for public hearings on issues. African is press. Boom, letter ignored. You send a bill to the Speaker. Say, please help me gazette this bill so the public can debate it, because it is a requirement. It is a requirement in the Constitution and the standing orders. It's not a favor. We don't have to beg. I'm a lawmaker. If I send you a bill, send it. Because I ask, so what's the procedure? So everything is arbitrary and based on how people feel about you. So for me, I have a litany of letters I send and ignored, and motion I passed on debating. I was on the media, you know, here in 98.1 saying it is a constitutional requirement that we do it. So today we're beginning to pay. You know, governments look at you, investors look at you, that if these basic things cannot be done, something is not right. And how can we then preach transparency and morality to government?
Standing on the point you raised, that corruption is not only about siphoning money or misusing money, or sort of, it has moral issues and you know, subverting procedures and processes as well. Is it safe to say you know, the parliament you're part of can be accused of being corrupt as well?
I'm not putting any aspersion over the parliament.
But the Speaker is part of Parliament.
I am very specific. I'm very specific on the...
But the Speaker, you can't take the Speaker away from Parliament.
I am very specific of my disagreements with the Speaker.
But the Speaker is part of Parliament. He doesn't take decisions.
He's also free to address it when he feels like.
He doesn't take decisions alone, I suppose. He's part of Parliament. It's
his prerogative to decide how he wants to do it. There's some things he takes on his
own.
So
on the things, quickly, Phoebe, on the things you've been mentioning, on the issue of you writing a letter to the Speaker, raising issues of concerns about him getting his house again, don't you think that's collective responsibility? Other members of Parliament are part of these processes. They can as well raise concerns, but they're not doing it. You're doing it.
Everybody has a right. We were all elected for 5 years. I take very seriously that I was elected. I take very seriously that I don't serve at the pleasure of anybody except the constituents who elected me. That's where, and the citizens of this country, for my accountability. So I choose to speak out, and that's some of what some of the minions say. Oh, they talk too much. Oh, we all say, no, I agree with other people there. The other one, There was another junior guy trying to teach me about collective responsibility the other day. I looked at him and said, I was serving as a minister when you were still in primary school. You want to teach me? And what is some people's idea of collective responsibility? Just keep quiet and we do what we want to do. I cannot do that. I cannot do that for anybody. I'm too old now. You know, I'm a senior citizen to be able to be told by a very junior person who is bending the rules that, oh, it's collective responsibility. Once we've said it, you have to go with it. Especially when we're consulting in close quarters. Yeah, and you see these things happening, so I guess.
Have you been able to build allies in Parliament, say with the other opposition parties?
I have allies.
But it seems you're alone in this.
No,
it seems
I have good allies.
You are the only one that was not given a vehicle, and you've raised that. It seems you are the only person that is being victimized.
I want to talk policy. I want to talk public. I want to talk public policy. There are young men and women. There are young men and women in that parliament that really came there for change. You know, I saw some of those people. Our first three months in parliament, about 80% of us are new. So some of us get really irritated when people tell we say, "Now so them bin they do." If it is something good, it's a tradition. You know, we want to follow that good tradition, because in any institution like that, you have the written rules and guidelines, but you also have sacrosanct values and traditions that the institution protects. So there are young people there who really genuinely want change. They want to talk about issues. They want to be free from the shackles of 77K in the Constitution, which sometimes makes them very difficult for them to go against their parties. They genuinely want to grow. And the institution can keep them down. But I guess I'm too advanced in my age now.
You spoke about the excesses somehow being unchecked. Who do you think should take the bulk of the responsibility? I ask this because Parliament, of course, yes, should be the arm that supervises, I would say, for lack of a better word, the executive. But in this case, we see most of some of these things trying to be swept under the carpet. It takes few people from Parliament, few honorables to speak to the public about some of these issues. So who should take the bulk of the responsibility in this situation that, as you put it, the excesses are not checked, when even within Parliament, those who check it are in the minority?
The critical mass of those who are willing to go beyond just making speeches. The critical mass of those who say, look, whether I come back a second or third time doesn't matter to me. I am here to serve and I will serve. And sometimes they take it to leadership that, look, we can't have this anymore. We came here to change. But they've also seen how others have been sanctioned. And there is a silence. Nobody wants to say anything. And so they're scared of being hit as well, and nobody will say anything. You know, some have also seen the immunity of their colleagues lifted. So what I would say is, look, I myself may be sanctioned now, but I'm willing to face it. I'm willing to face the sanction.
You think after this interview you'll be sanctioned?
Very likely, and so I'm willing to face it. You know, I'm old enough now. You know, that's why I celebrated the birthday the way I did. Go to nature and ask my inner self, who am I? Why am I here? What am I doing? And yes, the consequences I'm willing to face now.
Honorable Imkela, there's been the bold declaration where, you know, leaders of political parties met. You came out with a very good, you know, statement that you've been able to
sponsored by donors who were there.
Yes, you've been able to resolve the issues and concerns. Is it that, you know, you've not been able to work together as leaders of Parliament? And I want to ask, where is the main opposition in all of this? Do you think they've been playing their own role and responsibility as well in forming an ally with you or raising concerns on critical issues?
Let me say that Parliament has done a lot of good work. I am very proud of what we did with the cybercrime bill. I'm very proud of what we did on the Peace Commission, even though government disagreed with some of our positions. But we have parliamentarians who spend time in what we call pre-legislative processes. That's where the law is really hammered together. You know, when you bring a law, we go there and we go through line by line before it comes to what you see on TV. We've done a number of good lawmaking here, and there are other things that we could do better to make us morally check government. And I believe we're lacking there. And of course, yes.
Me people them when I don't hear it. I hope say Samura Kamara where they watch you don't hear it, the thing where they say can't a young I say impersonal problem now it's the Speaker of the House. And I will make a comment before we begin this. I say we get them good uncle them, we get them bad uncle them, they'll get a useless uncle. Them bad one and the useless one, and then they hold we together. They all we behind, they all salon behind. They do the things them where they get them claws inside. Another year for una self, waiting can the young say. And we are doomed if this is the way we go continue for do business as usual. Where President Bio can say na the new direction, where President Bio can say zero tolerance for corruption and on it get transparency, get this and that, but business as usual keep going on in the people's house. The people, we the people, the lawmaker, we the people, we for govern, we for take care of, we for look after, we the people, we get the good uncle them, the bad uncle them, and the useless uncle them, where they run we country. I pass Antona, me comrade them, me people them, me co-host them. I know say Kutubo, you must say scratch. I know say Wago must by this. Scratch you must small for you.
Thank you.
Oh my God.
Well, we see the self-centeredness. We see the me. We see all that thing. We see again, like I say, the grandstanding. The fact of the matter remains, and this is the alpha and omega of the argument. We get a building, but really not get a parliament. I don't know, sometimes which I can accuse people of, they what you call Alice in Wonderland, that they are being afflicted by that syndrome there. Because I only left for accuse people of being, being afflicted by that syndrome there. Meaning that the truth died at the falsehood, the falsehood died at the truth. But the fact of the matter is that, can anybody in right thinking mind in a supposed place, the body politic, where you now forget, one the first body, the major body, where now if or be the supervised system, can you imagine that the way the honorable MP don't lay out? He really tells say one me when me not for everybody talking on me on behalf. One, that the miscellaneous collection of people that within that place they don't know what's in for, they don't know really what's in for. And one, and two, again, the other can be say earlier on, we need for get a structure, a foundation, a kind of procedure. When I want the word procedure, I just substitute constitution for procedure. We go make we'll give you a meaningful parliament. A meaningful parliament. We go minister to the people that own business. Waiting at the so much that the self-aggrandizement, the personality cult, the media in charge. This is no, we don't need that. This for be the people's house. Why they forbade a speaker for bring something at parliament, whether in harmony with the legitimate aspirations of the people there? Where should that be that any place, whether in democracy? Like I tell now, we really need for change the trajectory of how things will work. The speaker cannot be seen as an overlord. The speaker cannot be seen as having a veto. No, it couldn't work. The speaker cannot get a veto power in parliament. When that happen, then they cease for call themselves parliamentarians. Again, like I said, some of the problem we will get, we don't get someone hooked up to how the see governance work. That they place to let God bless and can place all day. That we simply not go able to accommodate anything where actually smack of you know, when now, waiting to happen on your views and caprices. The speaker will not get, there are ways how things they come na the floor. No, the speaker not get a veto over that. But here is what you don't happen. Amen. When, if things now are good for SLPP, APC no go support them. If things good for APC, SLPP no go support them. If things good for NGC, no go support them. For too long, especially since we go back to 1971, where we promulgate a Republican, you know, a Republican system of which I can in the Republic to go together. We don't get a situation where you get every day I talk about it, the one man rule. We get the kind of presidency where we don't need. Somebody be ask me say you all the time you already complain about, you know, the what you want as SALONE. You know what I want as SALONE? Foremost, let's go back to the Westminster concept of government, the parliamentary democracy. Now go back to the parliamentary democracy. We'll see from just before independence, take on to 1967 up to 1960. Now go back to that system. Now go. We'll go there because we see parliamentarians. No speaker, no day. When we ever literally, one of the best speakers that will be in SALONE people as Banjat Yansi. Banjat Yansi see himself as a servant of the people there. Obviously, you know. Speaker, you know they get that extraordinary. You're the guide them. You the guide them. But what you get, we almost get a president within the parliament. Now we get that side. So until change that mindset, until change that trajectory, we are going to be having the kind of young killers coming to be complaining, the crybaby mentality, especially if we're not in that way. And I can tell you something before I wrap up. Assuming kind of young killer na president of SALONE, na president of SALONE, same thing where they complain about it will happen. What you want na parliament will be? It go some parliament where snap your fingers so as soon as hey you guys alone na me quickly. Hey, do this bill I want to pass on quickly. Nobody no go there because we there you go tell like another tower or another guy where get cause to apologize. So the alpha and omega of the argument we need for change the constitution. Forget a constitution where they put SALONE before, not to the political parties and not to the leader, and above all, let everybody decide for submit to the dictates of other economy, like the example was in South Africa. That kind of a parliament now we need, that kind of a constitution now we need, where everybody is accountable. If anybody not believe, Mr. Jacob Zuma, he wear orange jumper that way now from the suit. Like the suit I wear, so you don't change and I jumper I wear now. What that happened now because of the rule of law. Thank you guys for accepting the self-worship in vanity. So back to now.
Thank you, Mr. Shilon. We really kind of yumkela talk on in problem. They ask him in problem. Who say don't begin? He say before it be parliamentarian. So Abbas Bundu don't be APC now na SLPP. It don't say where they na SALONE politics. And is this the revenge why they talk about, why they say old unfinished business now they affect we today? Because if you look at it, Kana Yunkela say it is historical problem where they don't get enough from the past before it even become a kind of parliament. And we know say it be don't be a minister under Tijan Kaba in term, or was it Tijan Kaba? Yeah, I think in term. So if it's that the old grudge, where the personal and the moral, what they call them, then they bring kind of the parliament of the people right now, because this is really, really serious. And we keep putting these people in power. Now we Sierra Leoneans, now they put them people in power. These people have old agendas and then they bring forward where it affects the lives of the people of Sierra Leone. I keep saying this. Just like Baby Bush, he bring him Papa in all party them. He thought they were his mentors. but they had old agenda, hidden agendas, then push their old hidden agendas. America go for 20 years of war with many, many lives lost, many, many people mentally messed up for the rest of their life. It is sad. It is a sad day. And until we have people with morals, we need for change. That's why I say we need for pull their old dirty politician there. They recycle them, bad don't cool them. We need for pull them commodity. It don't say where they depend this. It don't say, Mr. Shilo, sir. It don't say where they depend.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Fadima.
Oh my God.
Well, there is one thing we all go agree on. I don't care which political party you dey, as long as you dey follow to some extent the politics of Sierra Leone, Abbas Bundu, the way outlive in usefulness. Now the political life of Sierra Leone. Because these were the academically renowned guys, went to Cambridge, had all this wonderful degree. Much was expected of people like him in his own time. You know, these guys were being called doctor when we not even know what doctor mean, other than medical doctor. Okay? I think we can agree that there is nothing tangible, meaningful, where any of we could point at that for about 30 to 40 years in the political life of Sierra Leone that this man has contributed, has made any meaningful contribution to. He's not he's not in a class by himself. There are a bunch of them. They've done little or nothing for the country. And now within the last hurrah, he's negotiating a package of retirement. And I'm all in favor of that. I never ever want to see people that would rise up for and get down to nothing. Because I think there's some cruelty involved in that. That's why I was a little, but it's a different issue. I was somewhat happy when I see the gesture towards former head of state and Stresser, but that's a discussion for another time. Because I think we always forget some humanity in we. So I wouldn't want Abbas Bundu, despite what I've said, that if it's not in parliament anymore, it will be reduced to a level that people should turn their nose on him when they see him. No, I believe the former speaker, the system for provide housing, for provide transportation, maybe because of the sensitivity of the position, maybe some degree of protection, security, all of that. But the range at which IRA, Dr. Yumkela just mentioned, 60 to 100,000 Leones a year in retirement. Well, to me, if I were in Yumkela's position, that is such an ammunition. Yeah, dollars. That is such an ammunition. Break it down into Leones and tell the average man that will get for vote for Dr. Yumkela, for President Bio, for them parliamentarians. They tell them, you wouldn't want you vote. You hardly go make $50 a month in a country where one bag rice costs about $45. You got to break it down to the people. Dr. Yumkela, this is not your job. But let them understand that. And here is when a speaker, he want 1,000 times which he will take where he don't retire for government for gear. Which in you, with all your hard work, with all your hardship, you know they make. But maybe you're not going to ever make the rest of your life. So make people know, maybe where they earn $50 a month, because the average per capita income in Sierra Leone is $50 or less a month. That's the average money people in the make. Chickens who've been 2 years are making about 1.2, 1.5 million Leone, when about $150 a month. So we know that. You would think a person like the speaker, the current speaker, You want left a legacy, fight for a purpose, so history will judge you kindly. But again, like I say, one thing about your brothers, they're consistent. They just don't give a damn. They only care about themselves. They don't care how history judge them. They're not busy. Integrity no matter. And there's a saying in English, with integrity, nothing matters. Without integrity, nothing matters. So I think these guys just figure, say, we're there for ourselves. Who cares what they say about we? Because I cannot imagine Abbas Bundu, who has spent about 40 or more years in public life and high-profile positions, in a way out, they talk about $100,000 plus other fringe benefit package. And they talk about the common man where they make $5 and $50 a month, rather than concern. And Dr. Young says something very, he says something, what I call, I take the position, and I think that's what it should be. You should want to go into politics or into service for one purpose only. One purpose. You cannot go into politics for a dual purpose, and that is to improve, to serve the people, to improve their lives. There should not be any other purpose while you're there. And if you get any other purpose, then you don't belong in parliament. So we do know 90% of we politicians, their purpose not for serve. So Dr. Yom Kila say all the right thing. It seems like listening to him, he looks like he's been born again. He's saying what an opposition leader should be saying, and we get the confidence, because I don't take joy in thinking that if President Bio loses the election, APC will come back. I mean, where Professor Kutubu Tobo, Alice in Wonderland, I mean, we're dreaming. If APC come back, life is going to be better for people. Well, we can fool ourselves. We can believe that. Both parties have a history. You do what you want, But I don't see how the people's lives will be better. So that's all I have to say.
I mean, since with politicians, let's just go much quick, because this, like I say, I kind of lost. How can we get ourselves out of this? How can Sierra Leone? That's why the young people, because like I say again, then dirty uncle them, they're all bad, wicked uncle them. They groom. They get the one they groom. Una sabi the name, they not to me get for tell una. Una fill in the dash, una fill in the blanks inside they belong. But you get some young one they wouldn't they groom for become them, for take them place, they get them. So it continues. So we need more of the good one, then we go roots them, bad one, then come out. It is gonna be a fight. It is not gonna be easy. It is gonna be a fight, but it is the battle of the minds. The mind we get for free, we mind they understand and see, say, I deserve better. Put people in place where they work for you. We see this politician, so this parliamentarian, the other day on thing, I sent him to the team. I don't know if they get him for me. We see in case where they put forward, he's a Honorable Emmanuel Saidu Conte. Emmanuel Saidu Conte is a parliamentarian, and he writes on his Facebook page, because we know say they don't arrest him, then say they accuse him of smuggling arms into Sierra Leone. But this man writes in his on his Facebook wall on the 4th of July 2021. He said, "Be informed that I'm presently detained at the CID for questionings about an alleged importation of ammunitions in the country. As a man of high repute, who has built a strong image for himself, does not know anything about the said ammunition, and can never involve myself in anything of such nature. Meanwhile, know that I was arrested together with the vehicle owner and agent. Detailed information about that transpire will follow the communication soon, something like that. Okay, this is said. He said he was in a sad mood. He put on there, and this thing they go on social media where they read and they talk on this parliamentarian, and before this 1 year, so maybe about a week ago, they discuss, or 2 weeks ago, they discuss in the parliament about the things that when they do in the parliament and the things that way President Biobi go talk way wrong. And this parliamentarian was one of the parliamentarians where they opposed waiting President Biobi go talk in the parliament. So now, some people then they say, we don't know. If 50-50, we don't know if you do them, we don't know if you not do them. But some people then they come with the defense, they say, because he speak out in a parliament, that's why they are setting him up for failure. And if you go now in Facebook page, he does a lot for a community. He is an hands-on person. If you go now in page, you will see a lot of things there where they do they involve. So it is like they are claiming, some people are claiming that because of all this, they want to try for tarnish the man in character and silence him and punish him because he speak out in parliament. This is what some people are saying. Some people they say, now that's he do. Then right after that, another person we're calling himself General Kaloko, when one of the SLPP spokesman, he go on social media, he made an audio say, all them parliamentarians, the way former president Anes by Koroma, they don't give weapon, let it all turn into Anes Koroma, they don't turn the weapon into Anes Koroma, now then they transport the weapon and they try. These are dangerous audios that go out in public. These are dangerous things that people put out there for cause chaos and drama and confusion and stuff about things. We don't know if not true or not lie. Let the due process, let the man go prove himself for whatever it is that it is. But when people go there by party line, and we have both people on both sides that do these kind of things, it is dangerous. Because they say, oh, they don't make ammunition and this and that. And that is a cry for battle. That's a battle cry. That is a battle cry. We have to stop these. Our people have to stop these. Social media people, we get for stop them kind thing here. Because that dangerous ground with a tread on, we don't even know. Slippery slope. We might fall in the ditch ourselves. We get for be careful. I don't know if this man bring and come. I don't know if he not bring and come. It is between him, the one that we accuse him, and the truth. Because there are three sides to a story. Was he set up because he spoke out and he was in a loud opposition voice? Was that why? I don't know. It is what is said out there. Or could it be, yes, he did it. Why did he do it? I don't know. So, he don't talk now, he don't come out say, he don't know nothing but the accusation. So the story they're out there, social media, they run them. So I don't know if anyone wanna get anything you wanna add. Mr. Shilon, I go to you first, sir. If you want to add anything for this man.
Of course, I want to add, yes. Yes. You know, Lord put aside the conjecture. Lord put aside and face reality. Here is not the reality. They say for many are selling jokes. For many are selling jokes. Waiting not happen so. Now we take antecedent back to series of activities or series of remarks where in party people they don't make. Like I said, we stay away from conjecture. Own set up, not this, not that, me not even get to this army. Here's what I get it to. Immediately after the elections 2018, the leadership of APC talk say once another in governance, the country will be ungovernable. We either hold it. Look further. The person where he emerged as the flag bearer, he also accentuates that. Cheno Majuba, when an opposition leader, APC opposition, he go to London, he may preside over a meeting one of Leone people got asked who still will take care of that man, the president. We already talked again. We also yelling where a former president talks in no court. We hear that word in no court. So the fundamental question we ask, that na coincidence by or waiting, or this that the grand design this by the end, by the intentions where people then get for make sure say we or war once we know they in power, we go do anything there. I'm not saying the man guilty of that too, because for me in America too long, I believe you are fundamental and a precept. Nobody not guilty of anything until you go through the due process. So until you get in court, the matter is being litigated with all the constitutional rights at disposal. But what me the coming events cast a shadow. Now you should say that they talk to beware of some statements, the way they make statements and get unintended consequences. I'm not saying he did that. So, but reasonable minds will come to say, wait a minute, these guys have been saying this will be. What if, in fact, something a possibility that it bring all of them here? The way out of this quagmire would also go the Susan Asylum, going to be this way. When the people there by their vote, they go to the police station, they reaffirm their faith and the validity of the sanctity of the ballot box by electing that they want. Elections have consequences, like Obama been saying that they do have consequences. We were lost the election, Lord go sit down and come up with a counter strategy, how what will make you come back, we will win. But when we resort to this kind of the logic of lawlessness, we embrace them, open all the time. Don't they waiting pass on the can't say they country, so chaos. Yes, this is all of this what is so that the sum total is that the sum total. It's very possible to say it will be a symbolic. I say, me not believe in conjecture. The only way we go wait until the man is taken to court. Because in law, the way we distinguish attorney will tell you that the preponderance of evidence where go support any culpability now go rely on then at the province of the accusers, not to that man. If that mean that man not going to be worried because the preponderance of evidence go there on them. But again, what not happen as the propagandistic hysterical nervousness. They not take hold in the political firmament of the nation. Everything a propaganda. Except people go make this way. Oh, na like they like we. They set you up. They do. Nobody is prepared for wait. For let put in faith in the rule of law. For let anything. So what they do now, every now and then they come up with this. They come up with this. All they just inflame the embers of unrest. This is what is happening. It's of the way. So now me take that day. Let them wait. Let the matter take in course. Let go to court. When the matter has been litigated in court, then we will accept the verdict. Finally, don't also forget, say, Parliamentary said we don't talk, say, the next kata among the United Nations will come back. So we all of them can talk they did. Sometimes, let God help Salone. Now we'll find a conclusion on that.
Okay, Mr. Shillong, to you, sir.
Very briefly, I don't know what to say, but I believe, based on the current system, the Western system, the system in Australia, I strongly believe in the presumption of innocence. I don't know why. I think there should be a limitation on the CID as to how long they hold somebody in detention or for questioning. So this gentleman say he's being detained. But again, I've always argued, all those things, detention, the act of detention is a constitutional issue. The way the legal system is structured in Australia, you will not get the ability for test and challenge. You restrain because then your law say you cannot even challenge it at this stage. You would get for challenge them when you reach Supreme Court. All and they get for change because it's a seal law. If they detain the man and he thinks he's been unlawfully detained, he should be able to raise the unconstitutionality of detention at this stage. But the law in Sierra Leone say you can do them. Again, like at the talk, they will not get the right expert to them, will not get for debate the implications of certain things they want to write into the law. Apparently, everybody thought it was, no harm done. It's okay. The Constitution, the Supreme Court shall have original jurisdiction on all matters pertaining to the Constitution. Sound good, sound impressive, but it's nonsense. The Supreme Court should not have original constitutional power. Every court, magistrate court, Supreme Court, High Court, they all should have it. Constitutional issues should be raised at every level. So we get some structural problem in the country. So now this gentleman, let's hope not to frame the inframer. Let's hope what he says is the truth. Let's hope that he's innocent. But Sierra Leone has a history of having framed people to their death. Some treason trials we know of in the past. So, but I will not say the BO government has that. So I will hope they are decent enough, using the Palo Conte case as an example, that this gentleman will be accorded in due process. And hopefully, if it turns out that he was being framed, I think those responsible should be held accountable both criminally and civilly. It's because we get for discourage that you cannot play with people's lives and liberty like that. If it is a lie, just because somebody says something way annoying or offensive to the president, is dangerous, because that's a gross misuse of prosecutorial as well as political power. So I cannot take it aside. I can't take it aside other than the fact that I hope the system works its way the way it was intended, and that's for give people a fair trial.
Yeah, and I know the civil society themselves, they speak up on this issue, say why they for detain the man that long, they need for let him go and all that, and they speak up, they don't call for immediate release because like we say, now God no model it's good, and it can take sometimes the grace of divine intervention for lay you come out on something where you not do. If you know say you innocent, somebody go put you and set you up on something because of whatever. And we know say SALONE get that way they too. So no, we don't forget that they back because historical where you get them grudge them. They all grudge where they can bring car inside, then set people there up, and people have been all lost their lives because of that, and we pray to God it not be so. Whoever violates the law, nobody is above the law, then for be prosecuted and then for face the punishment of whatever it is. But let justice prevail. Let the unity, freedom, and justice, as the coat of arms say. But look, we run quick. We don't done for time today. Look, just run one more topic quick, which is the Strasser. We will come back to our next week. But we see Strasser, President Biogi, Strasser House, and then they try to put law in place. We go, give benefit to people them like Strasser, where they're not considered the head of state, they're not considered the elected president or whatever. And we don't see how, Strasser been leave as a former president. He really broke you out for see. But we see the Oswald and Guy, we see all the publicity will come out of it. And we see, as people know, they read body language, body language expert, you can tell, say, the former head of state, which is Captain Valentine Strasser, not being comfortable. You see him fidgety, because that's one of the ways to show in a thing that you know happy. So we know say Professor will make a broadcast and other people they raise their concern. It's not about okay, you don't get the should I get the who side the money come outside the host there, who side this. Some people say now Libanese Bilam, blah blah blah, and then people then take offense to the president and the first lady in picture when they inside the house. The question then is, should President Bill have done this in private and just put pictures out there, then public can put in videos out there, and if he kind of embarrass the man or it make the man, some people they say because now him been causing downfall, now he make it feel, everybody get theory out there. The theories are out there, the things are, the beliefs are out there. But I mean, one of the big things why the pictures hanging on the wall of the house when they give to Valentine's Gaza, and then also outside the money come out, and the laws that we for make we for kind of like safeguard them people, yeah, their dignity tomorrow. Because somebody make a page, Alpha Side will write a thing say the tolerance of President Mother Bill. I say it is not the tolerance. It is about doing what is supposed to be done. It is about doing the right thing. Doing the right thing and tolerance. This shows the tolerance. No, this is not about tolerance. This is about doing the right thing. This is about giving somebody what he deserves. This is about restoring the dignity of human being. This is about restoring life. That's what I think this is about. This is about enough for being a good for public relations, but at the same time, those videos were a little bit inconvenient for the man. He kind of like was shy, a man of few words, talk much and all that stuff and that. So, Mr. Shilon, to you, I give then a person to Kutubu. What you not think of that? Quickly, we not get beaucoup time. No, just sum up quick, summarize and quickly we go for today.
Okay, me on take on that. Let's start off with giving President Bill the credit we deserve. It's clear, based upon the brief history where we know, that Stresser found himself in a position of distress as a result of an act by President Bill during the military days, will lead to the instability in the life of Captain Stresser. That said, without going into the facts, but we all know, I give President Bill a lot of credit. It comes across to me as a guy or as a man or as a president with some degree of, any good human being forget remorse when you think say you don't do something way not fair. Particularly if me and you they compete in a game, you cheat for win, then you win, then you get a trophy. And I go happy that I lost unfairly, but if you try for share the limelight with me, you try for do certain things because your heart tell you say say if you not be pulled some kind of a game. Before win, I will get respect for you. So that said, I think President Bill moving in that direction, trying for show some remorse, some kindness, some humanity for another person, let alone a fellow soldier, who at one point was now your boss. Now in get the upper hand, and use them in a constructive way. I like that. What I don't agree, I keep arguing policy. There are two things about what is happening that I don't particularly care for. Number one, it's just unfair for put you photograph and your wife in photograph. Now remember, now the wife is just your wife. She is not supposed to have her pictures hanging in public buildings. And let alone in a building, even if it's private, that you say is a gift to someone. That is a little annoying, that is a little irritating, that is a little bit offensive, that's a little bit insulting, So I will urge President Bill that for continue the goodness we start, with all due respect to the First Lady, that it take in picture down. And if that was in a private house, Captain Stresser should not be made to have even the president in picture in private wall. This is not a public, this isn't a public housing where it is like where you get public places. So I think, to me, I think the president will do himself a lot of good, and it will show, say, an amount of class by not overusing in power that way. I mean, the picture in Kindede, but what does it prove? Why do you want to let this man have a constant reminder every day he wakes up? Every day he dozes off in a chair. Every day he take a look at the wall that he foresee you, the person will displace him. And then not bad enough, your wife. Why? So that I think is wrong. But the other matter of policy that I think the nation, the gesture what the president made of late, I think Parliament needs to look into that. You give $10,000 to soccer players and we win. You apportion land to them. You give house or housing to former. Again, let me just comment quickly. I think Stresser is entitled to that. Regardless how he came to power, he was once head of state. We shouldn't take pleasure in seeing former heads of state walk in the street homeless. There is nothing pleasurable about that other than extreme cruelty. It doesn't matter, because I take the position that I don't care whether you became president, I don't care how you became president in a country. It's not easy to get to the top, as President Bio is. It takes a combination of factors for you to end up being president. Because if it was easy, everybody would be president. You know? So when Stresser was head of state one time, the system should, as long as he's alive, the system will provide for him till he died. So let we hope and pray that this house, I ain't get him, and that Parliament set up, just like as the Speaker they try for arrange in retirement budget, that the Speaker, the Speaker will make Parliament arrange budget for former heads of state, regardless of how they kind of power, as long as the world recognizes that person that the head of Sierra Leone and the civil service will take command under him, he is head of state, or a former head of state. So I'm in favor of housing being provided for Captain Stresser. I'm in favor of the goodness. I commend the president for in good gestures, but let not pull him by imposing in photograph and then just the dishing out house and thousands of dollars on and land for people. Them government land not for just give it to who that you feel. Even if not government land, the president give away. A bad policy that one day. You know, we should have a structure whereby those things should be disposed of. Thank you. And there's a lot more I can say about it, but I don't want to.
Yeah. Well, time don't bet with today. So, Professor, we don't see the good thing. Like I say again, we're getting bad on cool, we're getting good on cool. And so tell them bad on cool now, they don't whisper now, they say put your picture there. Professor. Professor, go ahead, sir.
Mr. Shilon talk of structures. Actually, waiting Mr. Shilon talk about look at systems, long-term systems where George Washington and the first president in America, the things and way they may put in place now, day when the government come, the government will go, the thing they pay. Waiting we like again, I hope say we man Mr. Shilon will try for help me for let be a lawyer like so I will always be talking law terms because I like constitution and constitutional law. Then let me get systems, mechanisms, things in where go put the country ahead of political party and leaders. Because leaving at the benevolence of another leader, especially really, like I said, it really fall below the dignity of decency. It really fall below. Okay? Now get a place when people they retire, now that they do that this country as soon. Now you make sure so you don't commit crime when they go and they convict you criminally so that you don't go lost their benefit. Once you're in an office, you don't commit any crime, when you are in contact, then you retire with the benefit. So that way, and we will get incentive. That also again will cut down on people staying in power, say go. Because one of the things that when they afraid for commot, well, if I commot now, how about they cheer away and they get down now? Yeah. Now they prepare them for commit crimes, then financial crimes, then twist the constitution for letting be so continue to go there. So the hope now is we all will learn from this Captain Strasser in Odyssey. Lord, come up with things and then we all leaders and stuff, we will project them in such a way that we will be, because no matter what happened, it is always going to go in history that there was a guy who came to this country and then he became president of he became a leader of the country. It is not how he came into office. That seems to be very academic. The bottom line is this guy was head of state, and so it is only natural that he be treated in the ways that befits the office that he held. So let me thank you guys very sincerely for your lively, well-informed, intelligent discussions that I enjoyed from start to end.
Well, we tell God thank you, we don't done, and to all we listener them, and to all we Facebook, YouTube, Twitter listeners them, we tell them thank you, we wanna join we again. One time more they beg for una share, and if una notification, sometimes the notification can kick off, go back to your notification, subscribe and share, and like the page on Facebook, and put the bell on where we they come, because we they get in discussion. Yeah, so somebody they talk just now, Olutunji Mensa, they talk about it is a suicidal, psychological suicide, for giving a person without no paperwork or no title, and then get for pick what you want na they just put you in the then they put the picture, they for you remind you of whatever. I don't get all the talk where they say I don't lost that today, but yeah, I mean it is good for what you do, like we all say it is a good thing for what you do, but then there are other things that don't look right and not well the good, because I talk again say them bad uncle them boku, and I also we don't talk they say President Bio let not be like baby Bush, because President Bush the son, the father was president again, old party them, the old party them where the pikin be president, then can't inside there, it make them things there inside there, now them well in legacy for where they go stuck in a war and lie and make up story and try to put their whole agenda. Will they pray for the president, let not fall into that trap there, because me they pray for him every day, because I think he got some good in us, and this one he demonstrates and to we say he gets some good in us, he care about people, but don't let, and the president in West, we don't make that thing they say once upon a time where they swear one day where we say 2 years ago, we say they swear, and then some people, and they around the president. We want Ken Salongo. Now, these are the words of the first lady. We want Ken Salongo back. We want Ken the president go back. Now, then dark years, and we pray let God remove them. Now the way because we country now a country of peace, now a country of love, where people they want prosper. That's why we wish well for we leaders. Who are not good for we go pull and come out today. When the time reach, we there for sensitize the people. Open your minds. It is a battle of the minds. It is not war. It is not weapon. It is fighting. When you have knowledge, when you have understanding, when you have enlightenment, you see the truth, you know what you want for yourself, you know what is good for you in life, and anything where they come around you for try for make and good, where they push your life go before. So we want Salone for go before. We want we country go before. There are things that this government is doing that are good. There are things that many other things that whether they do way bad. And when they call the good, when they call the bad. We see the president, they make a farm. Whether they talk on this, I know for sure say Islamic Bank, that money there, the same money that we don't get to APC, we not see no farm, we not see no thing, we still dependent on people then. But we see the president don't begin the same program, and I pray to God it come to pass. I pray to God we not get for the import rest from China. He said let we all go get farm. I will talk about me next week. Myself don't begin one small farm where I go buy land, but until I sabi the land business na Freetown, where they want go team up now. Other people they come and say after we don't begin plant inside there, we don't begin make they one can talk say na their own. So we all they sit on the wait. We don't go to the Parliamentary because the section chief we don't tell we say yes the land good now the person get her. Now then they can't tell we say no down I want don't come and say na get her. Then they don't go first. It don't disappear first. All kind of confusion. You know how then they na Freetown. But me own money, me don't say, I don't say other person, but me own, nobody not go just sit and pass and not give you. But till next week, I say, we dey pray for our country, we dey work towards change. We all they do we part, everybody they do in parts, whether big or small, whether in politics, whether as a private citizen, we all they try for develop SALONE because we all want to let SALONE go before. So till next week, we come back again, we go for talk on many other things. I love you all. Remember, God is love. Go make a difference. Go shine your world. Go shine your light on somebody. Go just speak kind words. Sometimes people just need a hug. I know saying that Corona term, you know, let's be careful. Let we be careful. I just learned say somebody who I been there around last week get Corona, but fortunately for me, this week I've been get a doctor's appointment at the VA. I go there. I don't have Corona, thank God. You know, but we get for be careful. We get for really be careful of this Corona, and we get for take it to so till next week, go be on beautiful, go be on you. I love you. If you see how they shine today, not jealous me. Go work on yourself. Tomorrow, the cloud go over me, the sign they over you. Till next week, it is me, Fadima, Mr. Shilon, and Kutubu. I say, God bless you. Remember, I love you, and God is love. Goodbye. I salute you all. Thank you. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Good night.
So that we go